Welcome to the Big Four Accounting Firms podcast brought to you by big4accountingfirms.com. In today's podcast, I wanted to talk about loyalty to the Big Four accounting firms. Some people come in and they remain very loyal to the Big Four accounting firms. They view it as part of who they are. They view it as part of their personality, and I think that's just very common with people with most jobs and most, or at least the first jobs. I think it changes as you move on in your career, especially if you change jobs. But the longer you stay in a job, I think the more loyal you are. But I think speaking to some people, they view the Big Four accounting firm that they work at as part of their personality, or they identify it with their personality, because it's common for a person to think that I chose this job, I'm a good person, I'm smart, therefore this company, like I couldn't have possibly made a mistake when I chose the company. This company represents me. But I would caution people against becoming too loyal to the Big Four accounting firms, as we speak on this podcast frequently, because they're just very large corporations and they go with the flow of what their clients want. And that's their purpose, what their clients want, getting people chargeable hours. And I don't think there's really a point in remaining overly loyal unless you want to become partner faster and that's your only goal. Because these firms aren't necessarily going to be loyal to you. Now, in the information they give you while they're recruiting you, of course, it's going to be telling you it's all about you, because that's the way that they've all learned to recruit their talent. And I mean, the fact that they refer to people as talent is another thing. But at the end of the day, if you quit tomorrow, these firms keep moving. And so you can be loyal, you can identify with them, but and people comment on the YouTube all the time saying that yeah, they're, a lot of times these are just soulless corporations, and I think for the most part they are, and they might be better. The Big Four are better than a lot of other companies, because a lot of other companies, the employees don't make them the money, or the employees aren't revenue generating, they're just cost centers, and a lot of other companies try to keep their headcount low. And the Big Four is the complete opposite. They try and hire as many people as possible. So they're better at making people feel special, and while they're recruiting them and also while they're there. But in the day-to-day work, they will grind you to nothing, because you have to work around the clock to make them money. And they're all very similar. So being loyal to one, I don't think it's going to benefit you long term. You shouldn't view it as like your part of your personality trait working at the Big Four accounting firm, especially KPMG. In my viewpoint, I think KPMG has the most issues. But I think being loyal, you should be loyal to yourself and your career. And if that's having some loyalty to the Big Four accounting firm that you're at, then that makes sense. But otherwise, I don't think you should be loyal to the Big Four accounting firms in the sense that it's part of your personality. In the sense that it advances your career, then fine. But there's also plenty of other places you can go in your career where maybe it's a better opportunity, that maybe they're going to offer you a lot more money. And that'll happen as you advance in your career. And you'll notice, hey, if you go to the Big Four accounting firm and you say, hey, I got this offer from this company, it's 50% more than what you're currently paying me, will you pay me that? That's when you'll find out what true loyalty is, because they'll say no, because the Big Four accounting firms have these bands where they can pay you if you're not a partner, and they won't go above that. So that's when you'll really test it, and you'll see it in your own life. So that's just why I caution people against being too loyal to the Big Four accounting firm, blindly loyal, I guess I would say. And you'll see these people, it's especially in the younger people, the associates and senior associates. And I just wanted to bring that up, because I know people can build resentments too, right? They're like, well, this person over here isn't doing as much as work. They don't represent X, Y, and Z Big Four accounting firm. They don't represent this. But that's also hard to say, because there's so many people that work at the big four accounting firms, so many different personalities, so many different types of people, extremely ethical people, unethical people, and we see it throughout the news. So that's why I would say that you shouldn't like develop your personality into the big four accounting firm you work at. Should focus on your career, advancing your own career and seeing where that takes. But you also shouldn't just be jumping ship every year, every place, because you might not learn anything. But I would caution people against being too loyal to any type of corporation, because it'll cause some like cognitive dissonance if something goes wrong. If you work in the same place as unethical people, if you're not advancing like people, if your company does something wrong, there can be a lot of dissonance there. And so I don't want people to run into that. It's about your career and moving that forward. And if you have to change places where you work or your career path, then it's not, that way you don't get too far down in the dumps when that happens. But that's the podcast for today. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast to get future updates and check out the show notes for useful links. Thanks for listening.